Aldo Leopold's land ethic said a thing is right when it tends to preserve the beauty and integrity of natural systems, and it is wrong when it tends otherwise. It's an elegant statement of a very complex thing. It changes the role of human beings from conqueror of nature to member of a community. That's what it'll take to find sustainability.
Contaminated sediment is a big problem in the Grand Calumet River. We have pollutants like PCBs, mercury, lead, PAHs, oil, and grease, all sitting at the bottom of the river. The governments of the United States and Canada got together and said, we have a lot of really polluted places, and we're going to make a list of polluted places. We're going to call these places areas of concern. So Grand Calumet River is one of these 43 places that they named as the most polluted in the Great Lakes.
The Grand Calumet River had a lot of historical contamination take place before we were all smart enough to recognize that our waterways couldn't handle everything we would throw at them. I think what would surprise most people in Northwest Indiana would be the fact to learn that the water quality of the Grand Calumet River is exceptionally good. It's this historical contaminated sediment that is the item of concern for the Grand Calumet River.
A coalition of industries, environmental groups, and government agencies are working to remove this contaminated sediment from the river.
We're dredging the bottom of the river, and the water and dredge sediment that's pumped up from the dredges is pumped into geobags. The solids settle out in the geobags. Once the material is dry in the bags, will be taken out, excavated, and taken to a solid waste landfill.
We have removed and capped almost 1 million cubic yards of contaminated sediment, and that has resulted in about 7 million pounds of contaminants being no longer in the environment.
In addition to isolating significant contamination of this reach of the river, we also restored roughly 300 acres of nature preserve adjacent to that. And so what we've wound up with is a 300-acre nature preserve with a clean Grand Calumet River flowing through it. 20 years ago, I would have never believed that was possible.
The restoration of the Grand Calumet River has added to the region's already stunning variety of living things. The Shirley Hines Land Trust is among the many groups working to preserve, protect, and restore the areas that support this biodiversity.
Northwest Indiana is one of the richest places in the entire country when it comes to biodiversity. It is because we live in a convergence zone where many different habitats meet.
It's fascinating that there's so much biodiversity in just these little pockets of nature that are surrounded by municipalities and industry.
These small parcels of nature are a critical, yet often overlooked, part of our interconnected community.
The more species that are out there, the better these communities can respond to change over time. And having the ability to reform natural communities in response to that change is critical to maintaining a diverse world where we have clean water, clean air to breathe, and just stuff like this to enjoy.
Getting people to see that when you have a natural area that's permanently protected, there's these plant species and insects and animals, and that has huge implications on our water quality and our air quality.
These trees have acted like pumps, big pumps. You know, one tree can pull 300 gallons of water out, you know, in a storm event.
The bees, I mean, look at how the bees provide food to us.
You can even tie it into the economy where, you know, people want to be in a place where there is these natural areas they can enjoy.
The region's natural areas are in fact playing a role in attracting businesses to the area, some of which have an emphasis on sustainability. One example is the solar energy equipment supplier, Fronius USA.
Fronius USA relocated to Northwest Indiana because of the quality of life it offered its employees. Northwest Indiana used to be known kind of for its heavy industry And now it's being known more for the dunes and the kayaking trails and the hiking trails and being able to bike places and the different opportunities that people have to do outdoor things.
We're trying to rebrand Northwest Indiana on some level, and we need to not just think of it as a branding exercise, but in our own minds as a rethinking exercise of how we perceive the region. You can't ignore our impact on the landscape, and we have to be mindful about how we do impact nature and be smart about how we develop as a region. And we are each and every one of us part of trying to change the mindset.
We have our own selfish needs and desires, but we are thankfully beautiful creatures with beautiful brains and the ability to conceive of complex things like how to work together. That's one of the things that gives me hope that we will reach a level of land ethic that allows us to find some sustainability on the planet. Whether we can do that in time is a bit up to us.